tales of
I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where Gary and I go back to the 1920s and learn the lingo along with Logan, a.k.a. Wolverine. We're back, still in issues 62 through 65, trying to get Mystique. Gary, how are you today?
I'm doing well, and I'm thinking if I were in the 20s, in 1920s money, getting $1 million for Wolverine or Mystique dead or alive is worth it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's Rockefeller money, right?
Other than that, I'm good.
That's
but
like,
that is infinity money for 1920s.
Yeah. You would eventually establish a dynasty, and then they would make like an HBO show that's just kind of loosely based on your shitty family. Like that's that kind of money. Like you would have that kind of legacy if you had $1 million in 1920. Do you think
move over, Koch brothers? No.
Here comes the Butterfields. I always laugh because there's a trucking line called McElroy Trucking, and I don't know if they just I don't know if I just see a lot of them or whatever, or I just notice it more because of the podcast people that are video game adjacent nowadays, and it just always makes me laugh thinking about those boys going from podcast to trucking, even though I know that they're absolutely not. But like, what an empire
with their whole family. They bring their dad.
What can't they? Too. Yeah, they make their dad like do long haul trucking when he's not running D&D games based on whatever.
Well, I guess I'll go.
Yeah, Travis is running dispatch and just obnoxious as ever. So
yeah, it's like cutting. Oh man. To answer your actual question, I'm doing good.
Good. Excellent.
Doing all right. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Interested in this cover. Have you ever done one of these at like a beach or like at a fair or anything where you put your head?
I'll tell you what. Yeah. I did an old timey Western. So not a put your head through, but an old timey Western picture, but with an X.
Okay.
So that was, there's $40 I'm never giving back that I can't, that's just
you can't cut her out and just like post it as a profile picture, zoom in, crop or anything.
I could. I just had this weird thing, this weird artifact that I'm like, I guess I recycle this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I had
when I
got married, I was young enough that I still had like a box of like letters and notes from exes and stuff. And I just like had that. Like I just carried it around for some reason and like didn't even think about it. Like got married, moved it to Phoenix to our new home.
Yes.
And then like realized one day like this is kind of fucked up. I got to get rid of all this shit.
I don't need this. Same thing, dude. Like I had when I first got divorced and moved out, I had and this is you can put a date on this. I had a CDR that I had burned of copied AOL Instant Messenger conversations with ex-girlfriends.
That is good.
And I was like, oh, whoa, I still have this. How much psychic damage will this do to look at it? And then I broke it in half.
I was about to say, please tell me you broke that shit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I broke it in half and I got rid of all of that stuff. I had like a bunch of it. But somewhere in my stepdad's basement, I still have my old wedding ring, which I didn't want to get rid of when I got divorced for weird sentimental reasons. And then now I asked him, he said he can't find it.
Okay.
So that's a weird cursed object that just exists somewhere if anyone wants to cast a spell on me or something.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, hopefully your ex doesn't find it. Like that seems like the person that would want to cast a spell on you.
Yeah.
This is a pretty long bit not to explain that the cover of this issue is a 1920s wanted poster of Mystique, kind of in like a fancy dress, and Wolverine dressed as like what I would associate with is like a 1930s 40s gangster, but I don't know time very well apparently. So like I don't know when was that dude alive? When was like the gangster alive? Wasn't that like the 40s?
That's a great question that I don't know the answer to.
Like I've seen Sopranos. I should know the answer, but like or not Sopranos. What was the other crime one with Steve Buscemi? Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, Boardwalk Empire. Yeah. He's dressed up as Boardwalk Empire times.
Yeah, sure.
This is the two hosts on Duckfeed who have the worst chance of answering this question. If this had been any other two people who we podcast with, you would know the answer if you're listening.
I just give no fucks about this era at all. Like I don't have any kind of mystique for it or what. Not to make a pun, but there's no level of interest for me. I just don't care whatsoever. So
I'll do you one better. I don't care about numbers in general, and years are just numbers. I just remember gangster times. I don't care what number they go with.
Gangster times.
I just like it doesn't matter.
Does he mean Dr. Dre? What is he talking about?
Gangster, not gangsta.
Wait, are you talking about Gangstar? Or what are you talking about, Gary?
Yeah, Gangstar times. Yeah. We got Wolverine dressed up as Gangstar. But yeah, he's real angry, and there's $1 million reward, which I think is not calibrated super well for 1920s money.
Yeah.
Here.
And
what happened last time?
So last time we go back to the 1920s to have Wolverine and Mystique meet at what you might call a meet cute, like kind of like it's a firing squad meet.
A meet
cute.
shoot.
Yeah, it's a meet shoot. We're doing some good pun work today, Gary. This is really good. I've already have 3 titles named on this, and that's a lot for one episode. And then we're also chasing in the present day. Wolverine is chasing Mystique down for her betrayal of the X-Men during the events of the Messiah Complex, namely turning over Hope, the first mutant child born since House of M.
No More Mutants.
Over to the X-Men's longtime benefactor / enemy, Mr. Sinister. So he's tracking her across the Middle East, where we're stepping lively around racial issues, and we're also going back to the 20s to figure out how they met.
Yeah. And that is where we start in this one. This is, I think, one of the most clever touches in this little arc. We're in Kansas City, 1921, so gangster times. And we're introduced to Mystique's crew that she has. Last issue, she told Wolverine, like, hey, you should meet some people. And she has kind of a proto-shitty X-Men.
Yeah, or a proto-shitty
Brotherhood
of Evil, right?
Evil.
Like a brotherhood of Noxious, I guess.
Yeah, a brotherhood of weird pickpockets and stuff who all happen to be like circus freak type people. I'm using that term, of art here, who have various other abilities that distract. So they're talking about it. They have a lady who's real big, and then a little guy who lives under her skirt, who pickpockets, 6-fingered Soapy, who has a 6th finger and uses it to like do 3-card Monty.
Yes.
And do card stuff. They're grifters.
Yeah.
It's flim flam.
They're running the Glim Dropper scam and every other bit of bunko you can imagine being worked.
There's so much bunko in this comic.
Dude, the slang in this is so like, again, I don't care. I'm with you. I don't care about numbers, and years are just numbers, but what is the slang in this? It's so hilarious.
Yeah. It's me and Liv have been very, very slowly rewatching the X-Files.
Okay. And
there's that great season 2 episode about the town where all the circus freaks retired to. That's called like Bunko or something. We also, man, just in terms of archival stuff, this is all stuff we should talk about off mic, but me and Liv we went to an antique mall at one point. And this lady had this gigantic cardboard box full of X-Files collectibles that we bought a bunch of stuff from, including tons of 90s zines that people had written. That includes like poetry.
Oh, that is fucking great, dude.
Yeah. I'll send you pictures.
Have you seen, this may not pop it. Like I'm on, one of the reasons I love Twitter for being Twitter back in the day was like you would be friends with somebody, like you'd be mutuals with somebody, and like they would have these like really hyper-focused specific interests that you didn't have, and they would post about them, and you'd be like, huh. Interesting. Like they would just be into something totally that you would never even thought of. And I still have a few of those, even though I'm not posting on Twitter anymore. And so I got to learn about I want to say it was a Fire Emblem zine being made. I could be wrong about that. And like the mod, who may not even be a guy, like the person that was heading up the zine collected $13,000 from like, donators and people, and then just spent it all on gacha games. And like didn't make the zine. That's just, can you imagine like just a more like 2023 sentence of like I stole all your Fire Emblem art money and spent it on gacha games. Fucking great.
Incredible.
If you know the details of that and I'm wrong, I apologize, by the way. So
yeah, no, it sounds plausible. Yeah. This is where presumably, so as they're walking around, Mystique is giving Wolverine this tour of her agents, and she says every one of them is the best at what they do. Maybe where he picked up that phrase. And he's just like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't do card tricks and I don't turn regular tricks. What am I doing? When 6-fingered Soapy gets caught cheating, they're about to cut off his finger and Wolverine fights these guys.
Yep.
They're going to do it. He badasses them. Like they stab him in the hand. He just pulls it out. They shoot him. Nothing happens.
Small detail
he cuts
here
off all their fingers.
That I think is cute from Jason Aaron, and I don't know if he wrote it this way or maybe the artist just took some liberties, but having Mystique be a redhead in this is kind of like a little like wink wink nudge nudge, I think, and I just dig it. Yeah,
it's the kind you like.
That's the kind. That's your flavor.
Yeah,
you picked strawberry when you were 13, and guess what? That's what you eat at 65. So yeah, he defends Six Fingered Pete and gets shot, but of course he heals back up, and then everybody is shocked and awe. And then we cut back over to the present, where these villagers are dragging the dead body of Wolverine, who has been on the news. He's an Avenger. They know who he is.
Yeah.
This is very funny. They're dragging him into the desert. We get this kind of long monologue from him about having been shot over the years. And this is where I think when you talk about Jason Aaron really getting Wolverine's voice, this is what works, I think, the most for me. Right?
Yeah.
Like this stuff about he lists all the guns he's been shot with. He even talks about being blasted by sentinels and shot by a guy who can change his hand into a gun and fire biomatter projectiles, whatever that is. I just Wolverine's kind of whatever, man.
Either Ransom or Bushwhacker.
Yeah, it could be
weirdly there's
multiple
two guys
people
who can do that. Yeah. And tosses him into a pit. Riddled with bullets. You never ever get used to getting shot all to hell. And we get the Get Mystique explanation of things. This is where it does the 10 minutes ago. We didn't need to see this.
No,
we knew he just got shot. It's just so we can do a little bit of exposition here. And he'd just done the exposition.
Yes.
It's a little silly.
Yeah. But now we get to see him actually get shot. And I guess they just want to show him get shot in the head. Actually shot in the face. This is one of those really, really minor nitpicks, but it's obviously a single barrel shotgun. And he says it's a double barrel shotgun, which he's been shot a lot. Maybe you're seeing double. I don't know what's going on, but it's just a dumb thing. A dumb thing to get mad about.
The art miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
Then it cuts back to the present.
Yes.
So real silly.
2 days later.
With him monologuing about getting up while his body is healing.
Yes.
And describing what that feels like. It's not quite there yet, but he's still pushing through.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want the trail to go cold. There. I love the detail in this. I love his lungs aren't quite back, so he can't breathe very well.
Yes.
The idea of breathing with holes in your lung is very
horrifying.
Scary.
Yeah. The older I get, the more horrifying Wolverine's powers are.
Oh yeah.
Just scary as hell. And eventually, he says at the end of this that he's going to go catch up with an old friend. So we're gonna bring in somebody else at some point. We just don't know who yet. 2 days later, he arrives at a cafe called the Green Zone Cafe in Baghdad, filled with American soldiers and a nun who he quickly identifies as Mystique. And of course, she's a nun surrounded by orphans, so he can't exactly
it's very funny
attack her.
He's just these are my orphans. Real quick before that, when he sniffs to notice that she's there, a little trail of smoke goes directly into his nose like he's a cartoon dog.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the smoke is going to drag him to a steak.
Yes.
Or a string of sausages. It's very funny.
Which has to happen a lot, right? I'd be finding every barbecue in the neighborhood if I was Wolverine. That's what I'd be doing with my superpowers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time. I love Mystique doing this, using these orphans as shields. It's just me and my orphans. What could be more innocent than that? And Wolverine's drink your damn drink.
Yeah. They're gonna share some tequila, and then she's gonna leave. And there's some back and forth here about what are you really doing this for, Wolverine? I've betrayed the X-Men so many times. This doesn't seem why this time? Why now? Why is this time? And also that classic Mystique thing of who are you to judge me? Look at all of the horrible shit that you have done in your life. So we're gonna have a lot of that back and forth between the two of them. I don't think that this is actually really delivered on narratively too much. It seems like we get a lot of the back and forth without any kind of ultimate conclusion on this, especially because of the vague ending like you mentioned, and it just kind of feels it's fine, it's okay writing, but it just doesn't go anywhere.
It gets a little confusing in the last issue, which we'll talk about. The idea is we'll get to that with the heist that happens. It gets a little confusing. So he's listen, I can't die. You can keep running, but I can't die, and I'll never not catch you. Let's just get this over with. And she said, she's but don't the Avengers have to save the world or something? You're in 1,000 different teams. He's no, wait, I have to take care of this. And she goes, okay, I'm going to leave. And she gets up and she smacks him and says, don't get fresh with me.
You filthy beast. Very funny.
Yeah.
On the way out,
come along, orphans.
Yeah, come along. Small children that I brought into a bar full of American soldiers, and nobody seems to think that's weird.
Nope.
as he's on his way out to chase her, he's stopped by this like muscled up hillbilly looking dude, and Wolverine just kind of quickly says like, "Please tell me there's something bad about you, so I don't have to feel bad about kicking your ass." And he calls the locals ragheads, and Wolverine's like, "Oh yeah, thank you. You used a slur, so I am going to kick your ass now."
Yeah. Next panel, just him flying out the window.
Who is the in this panel? There's a
Joseph Grabowski or whatever.
Who is that? Is that
I don't know.
Okay, I didn't have enough time to look it up. I was curious.
Some friend of Jason Aaron.
Okay,
I
thought know. It might be a Kickstarter backer. You know what I'm saying?
He's got a goatee, so there's a really good chance.
Profile picture from the neck up and a goatee. That's a Kickstarter backer, my friend.
This guy's an extra in Shadowrun Returns.
If he didn't spring for the graveyard, they'd have to go through at some point on the way to the boss fight. But.
He goes there, and I love this. This little, he flies out, and the orphan just like, "Wow, sister, did you see that?" And they're like, "Yep, that's my cue to skedaddle." And Mystique hotwires a truck.
Yes.
And let this be a lesson to you kids as she transforms into a nearly naked woman, providing the awakenings for all kinds of these young boys.
These poor blue-skinned addicted freaks are going to have a bad time when they finally get access to Pornhub. We go as she's saying her last line, which is, this is a good lesson, never trust anybody. This is when we cut back to 1921, a rainy night, as she is kind of seducing Wolverine, saying like, "Hey, you should open up to us. This could be your family. This safety, it means safety in numbers." And we get this like really pleasant shot of all of her gang downstairs, like cheersing one another with some money on the table, like they're for today's
including
winnings.
A lady who looks like she has Squirrel Girl face.
Yeah, not sure what's going on with that lady. We didn't get an introduction to her, I don't think so.
No, Squirrely Sally or whatever isn't. Yeah.
Eventually, it works, and they start making out, and we see some heist plans on there, and yeah. Then we cut back over to the present.
Where a senator who is in town for the war is seducing his favorite prostitute during the war in a very hilarious hotel that has like hieroglyphics on the wall and stuff. It's like somebody's idea of what where senators would live in the Middle East. Again, a little racist. I think they're trying to show that he's married, but his wedding ring is on the wrong finger as well. So he's seducing this lady, and he's like, "Can we try some of the crazy positions like last time?" And she goes, "How about this one?" And snaps his neck with her thighs.
What a way to go, baby! Mystique. What a way to go!
What a way to go! Yep, just drowning in it.
And of course, she's transforming into him because he is a senator, and he walks out and joins the military, whose job it is to protect him. So. And we see Wolverine like a couple hours later rolling up on this site and realizing exactly what happened, and thinking to himself, "I've got a few tricks of my own, bub." And then thinking to himself again, "Why am I calling myself bub? Bub, that's weird." And then just can't stop it anymore. So
the self-signifying bub. He does his next trick, and the next day he goes up to the Iraqi province of Al Akbar or Anbar. And comes in, he goes, "Tell Mordad that I'm here to see him. I'm calling in the favor from Russia." We don't know what this means. This issue, we'll find out next issue.
Yeah, and it hardly even matters.
Yeah. It's just for a little trick. So the idea here is Mystique is in a very fortified position, surrounded by the U.S. Army. Wolverine has a plan to get at her.
Yep.
And that's it.
It's very simple stuff so far, my man. Like this is not complicated in any way, except for the weird timeline that going 10 minutes forward and backwards sometimes. So.
Yeah, not reinventing the wheel. Thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we very much appreciate it. If you're listening to this now, you still have time to book your calendars for the annual Duckfest happening December, what'd you say, 2nd? Duckstream.
December 1st through 3rd.
I'm saying Duckfest because I want to do a Duckfest again so bad I'm trying to manifest it to the world. So that's
I would also love to do that. We want to do it in person.
Yes.
If we can. We talked about that a lot after PRGE kind of fucked with us a little bit this year. But we have not done any concrete plans.
Okay. Well, so if you do it,
check
with
me. God, we want to,
because I'll be there. So.
It'll be great. We have ideas for it.
Exciting.
Yeah.
But before that, Duckstream, December 1st through 3rd, where we're going to be streaming video games, shenanigans, and all kinds of stuff in order to raise money for Transactive, a nonprofit for support group for trans youth. Very, very cool thing that we've done. I say we, y'all ostensibly have done it. I have been you're loosely a part of it for the last decade or so.
No. You're a part of this. You're in this, motherfucker.
I'm not gonna let you go, bitch. So yeah, please come tune in for that. And thank you for sticking with us through our hiatus, which was brief. Go check out patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, and then tune in next week for more Mystique being sexy.